Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Panorama. The return of civil authority to liberated, reconstructed, and resettled communities in Borno marked a turning point in the quest for progress and development in the area once destroyed. This effort, largely spearheaded by Borno State government, facilitated the return of refugees and IDPs, leading to closure of significant number of camps and resettlement of more than 20 communities in various local governments. With the support of government at all levels, security forces and humanitarian organizations, civil authority is taking root as government officials provide guide, leadership and maintenance of law and order, provision of security, food, skills training, livelihood support and cash and encouragement to return to agriculture is drawing voluntary return to resettled communities. How are the communities faring with the restoration of civil authority and provision of basic social amenities? How can stakeholders fast-track the entrenchment and sustainability of civil authority for speedy return of normalcy? This is our focus this afternoon on Panorama from the studios of NTA Maiduguri Network Center. I am Muhammad Ibrahim. The federal government has restated commitment to reducing high prevalence of maternal and child deaths in the country. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehanire, stated this at the launch of Reproductive, Maternal, Child, Adolescent and Elderly Plus Nutrition Health Policy document in Abuja. Basi Ita Epang reports.
Records from the Federal Ministry of Health shows currently maternal mortality ratio in Nigeria stands at 512 days per 100,000 live births. This means about 5 women die during pregnancy, childbirth, or within 2 months of childbirth. Worried by these unpleasant health indices, as well as the high rates of malnutrition in the country, the federal government convened this meeting with stakeholders in Abuja, with one thing at the center of these like minds: solution.
So this subject covers the entire cycle of life from beginning to end. It covers prevention of disease, promotion of health, cure of illness, and mental well-being.
How to have an effective policy document on productive, maternal, child, adolescent, and elderly plus nutrition health policy.
We don't have the platform to deliver. The only platform that exists for Federal Ministry of Health is the tertiary institution, and that is supposed to serve the state as a resource base to build their capacity, to mentor, to ensure that they provide quality. And how many states are tapping from that resources?
Political commitment at national and state level is another solution that was preferred. Partners pledged support to the improvement of the nation's healthcare delivery. Basi Taikpan, NTA News.
2 weeks to Oshu decides, INEC and security agencies are finalizing preparations for a smooth exercise. Mia Ogedi was at the INEC headquarters where a meeting was held this Saturday and now reports.
It is Saturday affair. Osun governorship election holding Saturday, July 16th. A preparatory meeting holding also on Saturday, July 2nd. But first, a post-mortem of some sort for the June 18th Ekiti governorship election. INEC and security agencies give themselves a distinction in the exercise.
Security was well coordinated. The election was peaceful.
But bad outing for those traded on votes.
Vote buying remains a major area of concern. We are working with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to ensure the prosecution of persons arrested in the Ekiti governorship election.
Back to Osun governorship election, the state is devoid of pre-election anxiety. I pray the tempo is sustained. INEC Chairman Mahmood pleaded, but from the National Security Advisor to criminals, it's going to be fire for fire.
The NSA also urged excess members to build on the successes recorded from the Ekiti election, as some disgruntled politicians may attempt to sabotage the process.
Party primaries for 2023 general elections over, but the dust generated by the exercise still forming a toxic cloud. INEC records tell of 216 petitions already submitted, numbering 1,650,000 pages, requesting candidates' documents.
Nigerian elections, especially the conduct of primaries for nomination of candidates by political parties, is one of the most litigated in the world. Indeed, there are now far more cases challenging the breach of internal democracy within political parties than those involving the conduct of the main elections by INEC.
The release of those documents come with more job for the judiciary. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
About 70 people who were lured and harbored by a church in Ondo West local government area of Ondo State under the pretense of religion have been rescued by the Nigerian police force. Kayode Olorundare reports that 23 of them are children.
No fewer than 70 people, including children and teenagers, were rescued from a church under lock and key in Ondo Town, Ondo State, by the men of Nigerian Police, Ondo State Command. The people who were abducted and kept in the church, known as the Whole Bible Believer Church, since January said they acted on the instructions that they must not go out and expect the second coming of Jesus Christ.
God gives us instructions. He told us to wait before Him 7 days for a specific project to draw us closer to Him. It was just 2 months ago I was told to stay, to pray, to get some information from God.
Since I've been in secondary school, I've been there.
The father is having issue with the daughter. On what? That the daughter should not come to the church. Yes. So on that basis, the father did not pay the school fees. Then I said, you cannot force this your daughter like that.
Some relatives of the abducted people are waiting to reunite with them.
Since January this year, I've not set my eyes on my daughter. And she has gone to school to defer her admission. And she acted on the instruction of the pastor and the assistant pastor. So who spoke to her that it is from the Lord. Rapture is coming by September 2022. And I want this child to follow us to our home so that we can give her parental care.
Police Public Relations Officer, Ondo State Command, Fumilayo Odunlami, said the church will be charged to court for illegal abduction and harboring after investigation.
By the time the police got to the church, just to see the pastor to invite him, the members of the church turned violent and assaulted the policemen. However, preliminary investigation revealed that some of these members have been in the church since January. An assistant pastor who claimed Jesus was going to come back by April and later told them rapture was going to take place by September 2022. So he encouraged them to stop schooling and
Remember, you can get more updates on our various online platforms. On YouTube, we are on NTA News Online, Twitter, NTA News Now, Facebook, NTA Network News, and on Instagram. Let's take a breather. Panorama continues after this break. Stay with us.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
Panorama continues. Borno State government has flagged off distribution of rain-fed agricultural inputs to farmers across the state in partnership with World Bank COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program, NTA. Mohammed Goni reports that 6,000 women in Kaga local government also benefited from distribution of wrappers and cash support.
COVID-19 pandemic and its attendant lockdown has affected every facet of human life including agricultural sector, with the rural farmers bearing the brunt. Each of the 3,170 beneficiaries in Kaga local government who received a bag of cowpea seeds and 5,000 naira were full of praises to the state government for the timely intervention, in addition to deployment of 4 tractors to the area by the state government.
The Borno State government under my leadership sought to collaborate with the World Bank assisted COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program known as NTA to save our people and help recover from the effects of the pandemic through increasing cash transfers and livelihood support to poor and vulnerable.
The governor added that the distribution of the rain-fed agricultural inputs such as seeds and harrows were from NCare, while the cash support and tractors were given by the state government, and that 16,763 farmers and by extension over 2 million citizens are to benefit from the exercise. Commissioner for Agriculture Dr. Ali Bunu Mustapha thanked the governor for the timely intervention to support the agricultural sector, considering the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Chairman Kaga local government Bunu Goniri was full of gratitude to Governor Zulum for the developmental projects in the area, including housing estate and shopping complex, which he said has addressed housing needs and improved economy of the area. Meanwhile, Borno State government has reached out to 6,000 women in Benishek town, with each benefiting from distribution of wrappers and 2,000 naira cash support, amounting to about 50 million naira. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Gwani, NTA News.
As part of post-insurgency recovery plan towards strengthening peace, especially in resettled communities, Borno State government has put in place machinery to ensure full restoration and sustenance of civil authority. This successful approach has encouraged voluntary return of IDPs to secured communities and local council areas where the people are picking up their lives. Maimuna Garba reports.
The more than a decade-long Boko Haram insurgency has affected all facets of human endeavor, but with gradual return of peace to once devastated northeast, following successes recorded by the nation's security forces and recovery of communities under the occupation of terrorists, Borno State government embarked on reconstruction, rehabilitation and resettlement drive. This program enabled governments at both state and federal levels to rebuild destroyed communities for the resettling of IDPs.
We shall remain resolute, firm, and courageous to implement all objectives that will bring peace in the state.
The development paved way for the restoration of civil authority in resettled communities, where the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, directed all local government council chairmen, civil servants and traditional leaders to go back to their domains and work for the people to encourage return of normalcy.
I am happy to tell you that we were able to establish civil authorities in all the local governments. Out of 27, 26 of the local governments are now functioning in their respective local governments. And we conducted all the local government elections in their respective local governments.
Police, Civil Defense Corps and local security outfits were also directed to settle communities to entrench law and order, a vital component of civil authority.
When we're there, we have to source for intelligence. We make observations of the activities, the movements, and all sort of things that are going on around within that location.
Courts in the rural area, particularly the magistrates and area courts, takes up to avoid difficulty by litigants traveling from far and near to Maiduguri in the search for justice.
This move has strengthened people's resilience as the returnees in various communities have continued with their livelihoods with the support of Borno State government, rendering assistance to them time to time. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Resettlement of communities in Borno State has been a huge task after the destruction of public infrastructure, personal properties and displacement of the people. Government made sure local council officials, traditional rulers, security agencies and other complements for the maintenance of civil authority remain with their people as life returns to many communities. To talk about entrenchment and sustainability of civil authority is Chairman Magumeri Local Government Council, Dr. Alilan Yomi, whose area pioneered the resettlement drive and a model for the restoration of civil authority. Sir, you're welcome to Panorama.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's begin by asking, how has the entrenchment of civil authority supported the resettlement program by Borno State government?
First and foremost, we have to appreciate His Excellency, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, for the giant stride he has made in ensuring that resettled communities have gotten their means of livelihood. Secondly, as we have made mention, the presence of government in local communities create confidence between the rulers and the ruled.
Right.
Therefore, civil authority can be restored when government presence is being felt. And that is one of the reasons why Professor Babagana Umar Zulum championed the election of local government council chairman in the 27 local government councils of Borno State. The symbol of power in local government councils are the local government chairman, and they have to be present, residing in that particular council for them to exercise what we call civil authorities. As I'm talking to you now, virtually all the local government councils are lively, civil authority has been restored, normalcy have returned, people have access to their farmlands, government have supported them with farm inputs, tractors and other agricultural implements in order to have a sustainable means of livelihood.
All right, what are the key structures ensuring sustainability of civil authority in returning communities and local governments?
To ensure civil authority is being sustained, leaders have to be dutiful and responsible. Secondly, the basic structures that are supposed to be there in order to restore civil authorities are: 1, the council themselves; 2, you have the local government secretariat, the civil servants, traditional rulers, security agencies, the electorate themselves, and then the provision of basic infrastructure. So if you have to provide this basic infrastructure and outline the basic needs of these populace at the same time in the local community, you have to understand their psyche. Because local people, or I can say grassroots people, have very unique psyche. Understanding what they need, when and how to provide these basic needs cannot be overemphasized. Therefore, no matter what you provide in terms of basic infrastructure, accessible roads, potable drinking water, affordable healthcare services, if you do not provide cash palliative for them during their naming, wedding ceremonies or burial ceremonies, they will lose hope in government. But when you now bring them together, be part and parcel of all decision making in the government, they are going to take ownership of your policies and then the programs of your government.
All right, engineer, coming to your local government council, Magumeri, that suffered immensely at the peak of insurgency, what is the state of affairs now with the return of IDPs and civil authority?
Currently now, Magumeri is very lively, with business activities taking place. We achieved all this because when we came on board, we were able to come along with the working document, which we tag G5. Especially, these 5 focal areas are social development, security and good governance, educational transformation, revitalization of agricultural sector, improved primary healthcare services, and provision of basic infrastructure. Currently now in Magumeri, all the schools are open, all other infrastructures have been provided, and currently Magumeri local government is very, very lively.
Okay, and briefly, how much effort needs to be done to sustain the developments on ground so as to encourage more voluntary returnees to areas where normalcy has taken root?
1 is the political will. Leaders have to sit up and must be willing to serve their people. 2 is mentorship to ensure sustainability of programs and consolidation even after your office. And thirdly, all-inclusive government to carry everybody along during decision making. This will give hope to the grassroots people, at the same time be part and parcel of any development stride in the local government council.
All right, thank you very much for coming on Panorama, Dr. Alil Nyai Yomi, Chairman, Magumeri Local Government Council, and your services to the state and nation.
Thank you very much for having me.
Moving on, Zulhijjah is a sacred month in the Islamic lunar calendar where the holy pilgrimage, one of the 5 pillars of Islam, takes place, as well as the festival of sacrifice. During this month, the first 10 days are considered most important as all righteous deeds are more beloved to Allah within the period according to the Prophet of Islam. Yagum Subukar in this report examines the significance of the first 10 days.
As Muslim faithful from across the globe converge on the holy city of Mecca for pilgrimage, which is performed in the month of Dhul-Hijjah, there are certain things expected for those even who were not able to make the journey to reap from bounties attached to the first 10 days. With me to discuss more on the significance of the first 10 days of Dhul-Hijjah is a professor of Arabic Studies, Professor Yehuda Abdullahi. Sir, you are welcome. Why is Dhul-Hijjah considered most sacred in the Islamic lunar calendar?
On the first day of the month, the prayer of both Adam and Eve were answered. And on the second, the prayer of Prophet Yunus bin Matta was also answered. On the third, the prayer of Zachariah was answered. On the fourth, then the Prophet Isa was given birth. And on the fifth, the Prophet Musa was also given birth to. So on the sixth, the doors of paradise were open while the doors of hellfire were closed. So on the seventh, I think that is the day when the prayer of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi was answered when he sought permission from God to allow him to enter into Mecca for war. And then on the 8th, it is the day that those pilgrimage at Hajj were also converged to Mina. So on the 9th is the day of Arafah, which is so significant to pilgrimage. And on the 10th day is the day animal was sacrificed.
Okay, now sir, what lessons can be drawn from these first 10 days of Dhul-Hijjah?
Those on pilgrimage, they are performing their own to stay on Arafat. And those who are here, they are performing their fasting. It makes the day to be all engaged in Ibadah activities.
You have heard it all from Professor Yehuda Abdullahi. It is the prayer of every Muslim that all good deeds done during the period are accepted by Allah without compromise. Hajj Mabruk to all pilgrims out there in Saudi Arabia. It's back to you, Muhammad.
Thank you, Yagumsu. Despite the challenges facing the legal profession in Nigeria today, the society expects lawyers to be standard bearers as well as good ambassadors of their faiths. Miriam Emeka Amadi reports that this is the core of the National Committee meeting of the Muslim Lawyers Association of Nigeria, MULAN, held at the National Mosque, Abuja.
It's a national committee meeting of Muslim Lawyers Association Mulan, also involving critical stakeholders and other members who will be instrumental to the implementation of the decisions being taken in this meeting. Members are raising concerns about their welfare as well as the legal profession, and most importantly, supporting a candidate in the coming NBA election.
We take decision together. Whoever is seeking our support, we must get a commitment from them that as members of the NBA, our interests will be taken care of. There are other issues of national concern.
When I become the General Secretary, I guarantee you that every interest group in the Nigeria Bar Association will be fairly treated and will be adequately provided for.
Expectations are therefore high that deliberations will birth result-oriented solutions that will bolster NBA and the association.
We are like setting a program for the executive to execute, in addition to what they have at the back of their mind.
The general election of the nation is coming up, so our members are going to put high delegation on our involvement and roles.
The NEC meeting is between the professional challenges and societal expectations. Miriam Amadi, NTA News.
Let's join Cynthia Ogun for sports update.
As the 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations begins Saturday, host Morocco kicked off their campaign with a winning start against debutants Burkina Faso with a 1-0 victory. A goal from the captain was what the host country needed to get the maximum 3 points. Meanwhile, in Sunday's fixtures, the Teranga Lionesses of Senegal will face the Crested Cranes of Uganda in the second Group A encounter, as Group B will see the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon take on the Copper Queens of Zambia, as debutants Togo go against North African side Tunisia. In the related development, the Confederation of Africa Football, CAF, has increased the prize money for the Total Energies Women's Africa Cup of Nations, which equates 150% increase. According to CAF, the increment, which will see the winner going home with $500,000 is in line with the new policy of CAF to make women's football in Africa globally competitive. Still on football, 6 matches will be decided Sunday in the Nigeria Professional Football League (NTFL) as the league enters March Day 36. Kwara United will welcome Nasarawa United as Plateau United take on Lobby Stars of Makurdi. Other games will see Aimba go away to Remo Stars as league winners Rivers United take on Kano Pillars. And finally to hockey. Kadak Stars and Delta Queens have been crowned men and women winners of the just concluded National Hockey Super League held at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. Kada Stars defeated rivals Police Machine 2-1, while Delta Queens triumphed over Kada Queens 1-0 as the both teams defended their titles.
One of the key things is being able to now build up players from the grassroots and be able to now develop them into building confidence. And that confidence simply means apart from the player himself, we need to be able to now have infrastructures, which is simply the pitch and the interest, to be able to now move the game forward.
The 2 top teams from both the women and men categories of the Super League will represent Nigeria at the next Africa Cup for Club Champions (ACCC). The Sports Update, Cynthia Ogun, NTA News.
That is all on Panorama. Thank you for watching. Remember to be a star by joining NTA to stand against rape and rapists. Good afternoon.